Now, look, I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com and I love the Nintendo Switch, but it wasn't until very recently when I picked up a discounted Vita that my eyes were opened. Yes, it's clear that the way Sony handled the Vita remains a colossal mistake, whether through naff marketing or just a complete lack of showing off just how groundbreaking the console was. That said, all the praise heaped upon the Switch for being a portable version of the home console experience, of being something that could show off incredible graphics with solid controls on the go, they're accolades that Sony's handheld should have owned from top to bottom. To this day, there exists a vocal contingent of PS Vita supporters and defenders, a host of those who gave the system a chance after Sony released multiple versions of the ailing PSP, only to find the one perfect recipe as the rest of the world gave up caring. I'll waste no more time jumping in. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 9 reasons PS Vita is easily better than Nintendo Switch. Number 9, not an awkward size for portability. There's no way to get around it. The almost A4 sheet-sized Switch/Joy-Con combo makes for a supremely unwieldy piece of kit on packed trains and buses. Playing a Switch on the move means needing ample elbow room, and that's before you get to assembling or deassembling the system by attaching and removing the Joy-Cons just to make it fit back into your bag again. Sony's Vita slips nicely into messenger bags or soft sleeve covers with ease. It's made to replicate the size of an average smartphone, and best of all, your hands don't get cramped playing it for too long. Number 8, better battery life. If you're lucky, like really lucky, you'll get a good 3 to 4 hours out of a portable Switch. It's all contingent on which games you're playing, thereby dictating computational strain, but the average rarely gets above 2 to 3 hours on anything other than 2D side-scrollers and low-res titles. Breath of the Wild, for example, will drain your entire bar from 100% to 0 in less than 4 hours, and even that is dependent on how frenetic the action is on screen. On Vita, even if you're putting time into everything from Killzone to Uncharted, you'll get closer to 5 hours in total. 3 to 5 was what Sony announced back at launch, and it's maintained across their array of first-party exclusives, not to mention everything else. You just won't need to charge the Vita on a daily basis. It's that simple. Number 7, multiple past generation support. It's a PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP legacy machine. Right now, the nearest thing Nintendo offer in regards to backwards compatibility is the paid Arcade Archive series, catering to only a tiny amount of games. There's the upcoming paid monthly service touted to give us old games going forward, but even that has only been advertised to support NES and SNES games. It's hardly representative of Nintendo's entire library. Contrast this to the Vita, and besides already owning Vita-ready versions of any supported PS1 or PS2 games if you previously purchased them, the system supports hundreds of titles from across console libraries spanning PS1, PS2, and even PS3. The latter including PlayStation All-Stars and 2011's Mortal Kombat. Metal Gear Solid, God of War, Jak and Daxter collections, Crash Team Racing, Soul Reaver. You can treat the Vita as a legacy system if the newer exclusives don't appeal, and there'll always be more to delve into when compared to the Switch under the same criteria. Number 6, way sturdier / better build quality. Perhaps to maintain some healthy profit margins, the Switch's outer casing and general build quality just isn't very high-end. In fact, back at launch especially, before Nintendo trotted out better system docks, the screen and Joy-Cons were prone to scratching very easily. The Joy-Con rails when holding the screen continue to bend awkwardly too, leading many users to report their tablets coming loose during gameplay. And we can't forget the left Joy-Con desync issue, which plagued launch systems for months. Now, the PS Vita getting everything right does come from trial and error. There were a staggering 4 previous versions of a portable PlayStation: the PSP Slim, Lite, 3000, and PSP Go, letting Sony iron out every last kink before applying a kitchen sink approach to the Vita. The results speak for themselves though. There's a mark of quality to the casing, UI/firmware, and even the unlock animation of the Vita screams quality tested. Yes, it's a categorically stupid thing that the public had to be unwitting guinea pigs, but ultimately, the final result did get there. Number 5, a better array of true exclusives. Obviously, the Switch is recommendable as hell, but if we start to remove ports, the console doesn't even get to keep Breath of the Wild or Mario Kart 8. Even Splatoon 2 is damn near a re-release of the original. So that's Mario Odyssey, yay! Octopath Traveler, okay, yeah. Kirby Star Allies, Mario and Rabbids, okay, fine, yeah, that's pretty good. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, ARMS, I don't know. And 1-2 Switch, blech. They're all pretty brilliant, Mario Odyssey in particular, but as an exclusive library, it can't hold a candle to the Vitas in terms of quantity and overall quality throughout. Discounting all the previous generations of exclusives, which again comprises PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games, the Vita has Uncharted Golden Abyss, Persona 4 Golden Edition, Wipeout 2048, Tearaway Unfolded, Gravity Rush, and a Killzone game that's actually recommendable, to name but a few. Slice it one way and you're buying a console that lets you play all the best things PlayStation has offered for 20 years. Go the other and it's a handheld with a slew of big budget titles designed from the ground up to walk the line between portability and visually arresting scale. Combine all of these libraries together and the Vita is just outstanding. Number 4, cloud storage, media apps, internet browser, custom backgrounds, and multitasking. A quick glance across the internet with the words Nintendo Switch rushed will bring up a myriad of opinions and think pieces, mostly relating to how insanely threadbare it felt at launch, not to mention how Nintendo are forever playing catch-up. Things like the delayed online service benefited consumers by not charging for competitive play, but there's a huge amount of very basic features that actually exist on Vita. Media apps like Netflix, Crunchyroll, and many sports streaming services are supported. There's a more than capable internet browser, you can have multiple tasks on the go, i.e. not just a game and a storefront, and custom backgrounds with multiple images per screen are available too. Not to mention, Sony have supported cloud saves for years, something the Wii U was dogged for not doing, and the Switch didn't launch with either. Nintendo are just getting around to adding such an essential feature later this year, but at time of writing we have no idea as to how it'll work in regards to data allowance per person. All of which is to say, console feature comparisons are one of those things where you don't realize just how much is missing until you go looking. Number 3, a much better storefront. The Switch storefront is less a consumer-friendly way to highlight specific content, deals, and projects, and something more akin to a blog. All games are listed in one ginormous feed, separated by only the most paltry categories, be they custom text searching, deals, recent releases, and coming soon. There's no delineation between higher quality games from notable studios and what feels like a never-ending stream of mobile ports, quick buck cash-ins, and smartphone shovelware. On Vita, you at least get the feeling that Sony curate what appears on the platform, separating AAA from everything else across a number of filters. Top sellers, top picks / featured, latest, etc., plus a host of videos and easy access to your account's download list to keep on top of storage allocation. It's not even close. The Switch's eShop feels like an in-house prototype the company continue to run with versus something that has form and function in equal measure. Number 2, a proper D-pad. Props to Nintendo for figuring out how to make the world's first hybrid controller that can separate into 2 individual pads, but the cost was sacrificing a workable D-pad. On Switch, the Joy-Con's quote-unquote D-pad is actually 4 directional buttons, so that it can become 4 face buttons when rotated. This means that fighting games or anything more preferably played using an older feel just isn't possible. Trying to do quarter circle motions in Street Fighter, Garou, or King of Fighters using an analog stick is a living hell, not to mention platformers that feel way more responsive using buttons. Thankfully, it's a problem the Vita sidesteps entirely. Finally being a portable PlayStation with 2 functional analog sticks, a trait that dogged the initial 3 PSPs, you're pretty much getting a miniaturized DualShock. Qualms come from having to tap the back of the system to pull off L2/R2 functionality, but even that is easy to get used to, and you can remap controls if necessary. Number 1, it nailed console gaming on the go 7 years ago. The biggest thing that sticks in the craw of every Vita owner as the Switch continues to soar in popularity is the PS Vita did everything, bar being able to dock and project onto a bigger screen 7 years ago. The games are brilliant, the system's functionality outstanding, build quality, battery life, rendering power, and everything in between. Basically, if we're championing the idea of a more graphically intensive portable gaming experience, replete with internet capabilities, multitasking, and the propensity for backwards compatibility, the Vita is everything and more. All blame does lie at Sony's feet for treating the portable gaming demographic like guinea pigs, but as the culmination of all those failed experiments, all that trial and error, the Vita is an outstanding product that just simply deserves far more love. And that's my list. I imagine the comments below are a hotbed of opinions going left and right. Let me know what you think down below. Check out the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.